Most DMV field offices have a motorcycle skill course as part of their testing facility. Preparing for and conducting a motorcycle skill test is part of the job of a license and registration examiner, the LRE. As part of the preparation, the examiner places the cones on the skill test course. The standard DMV motorcycle skill course contains 5 orange cones placed 12 feet apart. The examiner also makes sure the skills course is dry and free of debris such as sand or gravel. Now the course is ready for a skill test.
Hi, my name is Mike. I'll be your examiner today for your motorcycle test.
Hi, Mike. I'm Steve Smith. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Steve.
Nice to meet you.
Could I see your permit and any paperwork they gave you inside when you checked in?
At this time, the examiner verifies that the customer has met the necessary requirements to take the test and also verifies the identity of the customer. In addition, the customer is required to wear a motorcycle safety helmet during the skill tests.
Okay, Steve, there are 4 skill tests that you're going to perform here for me today. I'll give you directions before each one indicating what to do and what constitutes a pass or unsatisfactory on each test, okay?
Okay.
Before we get started, though, I need you to sign the score sheet, if you would.
Right here.
There. Thank you.
Okay, if I don't pass the test today, how many times can I take the test?
Only 1 test can be administered on any given day. However, you can take 3 tests total on your application, okay? Any subsequent test would have a retest fee. Do you understand that? Okay, a part of the evaluation is to determine if you know where certain controls are located and safety items. We're also making sure that the motorcycle is safe, okay?
Okay.
Because you're taking a Class M only test today, we're going to make sure that your brake lights, turn signals, and horn do actually work for this test.
Okay.
All right.
The customer should be able to identify the controls by touch and not have to hunt for the controls. The following controls are to be identified. Starter. The starter button, usually on the right handlebar, starts the engine. Some older motorcycles may have a kickstarter, usually on the right side of the engine. Engine stop switch, sometimes known as the kill switch. It is also located on the right handlebar. This switch is used to quickly stop the engine in an emergency. The examiner should also note the location of this switch in case of an emergency. Clutch lever, located on the left handlebar in front of the hand grip. Throttle, located on the right hand grip. It accelerates the engine. Gear selector, usually located on the left side of the engine. Stepping on the lever causes the transmission to shift to a lower gear. Raising the lever will shift to a higher gear. High-low beam switch, also known as the dimmer switch, located on top of the left hand grip. Brake controls. Most motorcycles have separate front and rear brakes. The rear brake lever is located on the right side of the engine and is applied with the right foot. The front brake, which supplies most of the motorcycle's stopping power, is located on the right handlebar. Turn signals, usually located on the left handlebar. Horn, also located on the left handlebar. There are exceptions to the placement of these controls on some motorcycles and scooters. In some cases, the front and rear brakes are linked together and applied proportionately under electronic control. Also, scooters may have a form of automatic transmission and have no clutch or gear shift.
Okay, Steve, you've successfully identified the necessary controls. So now we're going to move on to the skills test, all right?
Next,
Okay.
the examiner instructs the customer to perform a combination of the serpentine ride and the circle ride. By exactly specifying the test requirements, misunderstandings and potential retests can be avoided.
The first skills test we're going to do is the serpentine and circle ride. Beginning on the right side of this cone, I'd like you to ride through the cones, weaving in and out of the cones. Okay, when you get past the last one down there, you're going to enter the circle in a clockwise direction, and you'll go around the circle 2 times. Okay? After the second revolution, when you exit the circle, weave in and out of the cones again, all the way back here to the starting position. Now, when you do this, Steve, you want to keep your feet up on the pegs, don't let them drop to the ground. Okay? You want to keep the front wheel of your bike on the circle ride within the painted lines, okay? And as you're weaving in and out here, don't hit the cones and don't go outside these white painted lines here, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Okay, so if I cross over the line or if I put my foot down, the test is over, correct?
That's correct. Although when you come back to complete the skill and you go to turn around, if you need to put your foot down at that point, you can. That's okay, of course. Also, as far as your wheel touching a line, if it touches the paint, that's okay. You just don't want to cross over the paint, okay? Very good. You can begin when you're ready.
At the conclusion of the instructions, the examiner moves to a safe location to observe the test. As the customer begins the serpentine ride portion of the test, the examiner watches closely to be sure that the customer passes through all the cones without hitting them. On the circle ride portion of the test, the examiner watches to be sure that the front wheel of the motorcycle does not cross over the painted line. However, it is permissible to touch the line. At the conclusion of this skill test, the customer will come back to the starting point to receive directions for the combined slow ride circle ride skill test.
Okay, Steve, could I get you to turn the engine off while I give you directions for the next skill? Okay. The next skills test we're going to do is called a slow ride, circle ride, okay? And what I'd like you to do, once again, we're going to begin on the right-hand side, and you're going to ride up this parallel tracking line that you see, keeping your tires inside the lines, and then you're going to enter the circle in the opposite direction this time than you did before. You're going to counterclockwise around the circle twice, and then exit in the other tracking lane and come back down that lane, okay?
Okay.
Now, once again, tires inside the paint, don't cross over the paint. When you get to the circle, you want to keep your front tire, I'm not concerned with the rear tire, inside the paint. Keep your feet up on the pegs, okay?
Okay.
Any questions?
No question.
All right, you can start when you're ready.
All right.
Once again, the examiner moves to a safe location to observe the combined slow ride and circle ride skill test. The examiner watches to be sure that the customer's front wheel stays between the parallel tracking lines without crossing over them. This test is designed to measure the rider's ability to control the motorcycle at slow speeds. As in the serpentine ride, the front wheel must not cross over the tracking lines of the circle, except to enter it, and the customer may not touch the ground with a foot at any time. The motorcycle's speed should be no more than a fast walking pace during this test, and the rider will need to use the throttle and the clutch in a smooth manner to control the speed of the motorcycle. At the conclusion of the slow ride, the customer will come back to the starting point to receive directions for the gear shift ride.
Next skill test we're going to do is called a gear shift ride.
Okay.
Okay, you see the 2 cones out in the distance here?
Yes.
What I'd like you to do is ride out to those cones, and on your way out there I want you to upshift 2 gears, downshift 2 gears. Once you get to the cones, make a turn, and you're going to go to the left and come back once again, upshifting 2 gears, downshifting 2 gears, okay? Now when you do this, feet on the pegs again, don't let them touch the ground. Accelerate smoothly and then make a smooth stop at the end if you would, okay?
All right.
Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, when you're ready.
To safely conduct this test, an open area of between 150 to 200 feet in length is required. The purpose of this test is to evaluate the customer's ability to smoothly control the motorcycle during gear shifting maneuvers and to apply proper braking for a smooth stop.
Okay, Steve, good job on the skills portion of this. Now we're going to get ready to do the road portion of the evaluation, okay?
Okay.
So I'd like you to start the bike, and then if you'll meet me right out front here, okay?
All right.
See you there. Right on the street, and I'd like you to pull out of that intersection.
Occasionally, a customer will require a license for motorcycle only and have no need for the standard Class C license needed to operate a car. On these occasions, a modified road test is required. The examiner instructs the customer to follow a route designed to keep the customer in view and which will include a left and right turn maneuver at an intersection where the examiner can observe and score. This pre-selected vantage point should be near the office location. This customer was prepared for his DMV skill test and road test. He passed both tests and will be issued a Class M1 license by the department.
All you have to do now is...
Not every motorcycle skill test will go as smoothly, however.
Thank you.
This customer is a skilled rider with a Class M1 license. We've asked her to demonstrate some of the common errors that our customers make during the skill tests. We'll start with the serpentine ride and circle ride. Remember, any one of these errors would normally cause the test to be over.
At any point, don't put your foot down. Do you have any questions? Okay.
Some customers have problems negotiating the serpentine ride portion of the test. Sometimes cones are run over or missed entirely. A customer who hasn't fully developed their clutch and throttle skills may have trouble maintaining the front wheel within the painted lines of the circle. This rider has struck a cone and crossed outside the painted lines of the circle ride. Again, either error would cause termination of the evaluation. Next, we'll look at the slow ride.
All the way down to the circle. Once we get to the circle, you're going to go counterclockwise around the circle 2 times. When you come out of the circle, go down the other parallel line.
The slow ride test measures the customer's ability to control the motorcycle at a very slow speed. The second part of the slow ride test is a circle ride in the reverse direction. Occasionally, a customer may put a foot down in an attempt to steady the motorcycle. A customer with poor balance and clutch throttle coordination may have problems keeping the motorcycle's wheels between the parallel tracking lines. Either error would cause termination of the evaluation. Now, let's take a look at the gear shift ride.
I want you to ride down to the telephone poles. On the way down, shifting up twice, and then shifting down twice. Once you get to the telephone poles...
The gear shift ride helps to measure the rider's ability to operate the motorcycle smoothly. Some customers may have trouble shifting gears smoothly, causing the motorcycle to lurch. As part of the test, the customer must slow down to make a turn at the far end of the course. Occasionally, a customer may put a foot down to steady the motorcycle during the turn. At the end of the gear shift ride, the stop should be smooth and under control with no skidding to a stop. Remember, any one of these mistakes would mean an unsatisfactory for the skill test. Often, customers making errors such as these really just need some more practice time. Some customers set up a test course of their own on private property. With a little practice, these customers will soon have that Class M license in their hands.